Welcome everyone to another Legions Imperialis box. So today, obviously I've done the terrain, so the next logical course would be the core box. Nope, I've gone straight into the Fire Raptors because I've always wanted the Fire Raptor, and it's way more affordable to do it in epic scale. So in this box comes 2 Fire Raptors, which is not bad, but I know things like the Land Raiders, there's 4 in the box. So it would be nice if there was 4 in the box with these guys, but I know there's a lot more fiddly bits, and there's only 1 Fire Raptor per sprue. So these are the Fire Raptors. So the Fire Raptors, not only do they look flipping cool, they are fairly universal. So you can go with the quad heavy bolters if you have infantry problems. You can also go for the auto cannons for something a little bit more elite with lots and lots of shots. Or you can go with the good old fashioned las cannons. So the las cannons, you only do get 2 shots each. They're hitting on 4s, which is pretty good. AP 1, they are obviously anti-tank. And you get the good old fashioned Avenger bolt cannon, which is stock, you can't swap that out. But that is range 16, which is a good chunk of your board, and 5 dice. Needing 5s to hit, obviously is only in your front arc because it's fixed. And AP is 1. They do come with Tempest rockets as well, so those are the little rockets underneath the wings. You can just about see there, but I will show you in a bit more detail. 1 shot each, hitting on 2s, -2 on the AP, which is pretty nice. So those quad heavy bolters are dishing out 4 shots with 0 AP, needing 5s to hit. And the autocannons, like I said, somewhere in the middle, a little bit more range than the bolters, so it's 16 inches rather than 12. 3 shots. Well, enough about rules. I'm probably boring those people that just want to look at the pretty models. So, what do you get in the box? Yeah, like I said, you get 2 sprues in the box. So I'll make some noise off camera and show you what's in the box. So both sprues are exactly the same, so what can you expect? It's the same level of GW detail we all know and love. And yeah, there's your las cannons there. Auto cannons. They're your missiles for underneath the wing. Quad bolters. So the plane is quite sizable. It's about 2 inches maybe in diameter. So let's get the ruler out, see if I know what 2 inches is. Nope, it's 2.5 inches. So it's a fair chunk of plane. It's pretty nice. So you get 2 sprues like this in the kit. You get obviously your instructions. And what I do like is you get all the legions that matter anyway. So something called Dark Angels, don't know, Spaceballs, never heard of them. So yeah, straight down the bottom, Alpha Legion, that's what I'm after, that's what I want. Really difficult with this light to smash everything with the camera. Better, worse, the same. Believe me, the white is there, I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, salamanders, word bearers, they're all there. So cool. Look how tiny. If I get a ruler out. Let's do it in mil. So the Alpha Legion stuff, like the smallest one you get is about 3 mil. Bigger ones, maybe 5 millimeters. But yeah, really nice to see a full transfer sheet. And in the Blue Peter styling, here's one I've assembled earlier. So I've gone las cannons with these. You don't need to glue the flight stands in because you want to bank and make all the noises, just like in Aeronautica. Still got all my planes for Aeronautica. Still love that game. But yeah, they don't move unless you make the noises. So on the table you have to make noises, it's essential. But yeah, it looks pretty iconic in any position. What I do like over Aeronautica is obviously Aeronautica had its own bases for height and speed, these have got nice detailed bases, street bases. I love that. It's fantastic. Fairly easy to assemble. There are, of course, a couple of fiddly little bits. Shouldn't need tweezers, like the little vents on the back there. Should be, even with my chubby polar sausages fingers, should be fairly easy to assemble. So of course I will be painting these up as Alpha Legion. I don't know if you want to stop watching this video now if you're not into Alpha Legion, but I'm just going to rattle can these black. I'm going to zenithal because I like the old candy touch, the old metallic touch. Zenithal with a silver, so that's just 45 degrees from above, and then slightly brighter silver and a couple of hot spots. Thinning out some Tamiya clear and putting over the top. So it's, that kind of effect is pretty good with your, let's say, Thousand Suns, nice candy red over the top, things like that. But of course, you can zenithal with white rather than your chromes if you are using Imperial Fist, for example, not the candy colours, not the metallic-y colours. So same rules apply. But yeah, really, really happy with this kit. So if you guys don't want to see how to specifically paint Alpha Legion, or you're interested in see how I paint mine, it's going to be a pretty quick and easy tutorial from here on in. But yeah, really like this kit. I like the options. Of course, you don't have to glue these in. You can magnetize, which is quite nice. So you get two in the kit. So you could have a different couple of options if you wanted to. If you wanted to glue them in, or like I said, pop a magnet in, and I think these guys will swap out quite nicely because you have all the bits to swap out in the game if you want to. Of course, then comes the stage of where to keep all the little bits, because like me, you'll probably lose them. Nah, I'm sure you guys are actually organised. But yeah, the details are fantastic. Seeing all the nice little rivets, and it's pretty much the same as the large scale one. I don't think they've missed out any details. The bolts, the rivets, the details on the top. These planes are phenomenal. Love them. So I don't care if they're going to be any good in game. I'm picking them up because I think they look cool. Okay, so this is the zenithal. So darker underneath. Slightly shiny in the higher sections, but not too shiny. Whereas on the top, it's a lot brighter because I want the light to be coming from above. At the back, slightly darker as well, because that's where the jet engine is going to be and all the wear. But yeah, a little bit of zenithal, not too bad. It doesn't matter too much because we're going to do some weathering on it, so it's going to get into the recesses anyway. But yeah, definitely want it brighter, especially on the cockpit. So I've got my Alpha Legion paint all made up. So I'm using a mix of Tamiya clear blue and green with a little bit of medium. And I'm just now going to apply in several thin coats, giving it the shiny metallic effect. So not too much initially. Notice it's just starting to turn. So I'm going to do a couple coats like that, rather than one heavy coat. Okay, I'll come back when it's all done. In other news, I've also, like I previously mentioned, magnetized, you can see a tiny little magnet in there, the cannons on the side for future proofing, so they will just go in there, just like so. Doesn't have to be a massively strong magnet or a very large magnet, but yeah. Also the guns swivel, and that makes better in the game because you can make bang bang noises, and that really helps. So yeah, I'll carry on applying probably 2 thin coats of the paint and see how I get on, so it turns out. Hopefully keeping it still quite metallic-y. Next thing is the blacks and silvers. So I'm reasonably happy with these colours, although slightly glossy at the moment, but don't worry, when we use the enamel washes they'll calm down a little bit. So whatever your favourite silver may be, so for example GW, bit of lead belcher. So I'm going to be using that on the engines, little jet bits as well, of course the last cannons, and the massive rotary Volkite cannons on the front. And then blacks. So your favourite black, loads of different blacks out there to choose. I'm still using Abaddon or Abaddon black, I think is the other way of saying it. It's Abaddon black, I don't know, tell me, I've been doing it wrong probably all these years. It's probably up there with people that say Tyrannids rather than Tyranids, but I'm not going to go there. That's a whole different internet video. Maybe a whole series on internet videos. So with the black, I'm just going to do the square little boxy section there, just above the thrusters, and a little panel there, I reckon. Not much, just a little bit. It's the same as my foot troops for 30k. Just a little bit black, not too much. So I normally have like black on the shoulder pads, things like that, just a little hint. That's just my personal touch. I have seen Alpha Legion with white stripes and things like that rather than black, but whatever you want to do. So using a bit of black on the old wet palette. So especially painting over anything slightly glossy, you'll definitely need 2 coats. Generally I put 2 coats and stuff anyway. Plus Abaddon black is probably not the best black for coverage. Yep, just put a little bit here. Being slightly careful with that section. And obviously waiting until it's completely dry before applying the second coat. But you get it. I will paint those areas like that one there. I'll paint that area up. I'll come back when I've completed both of them. So that's the black section done, and like I said, I'm going to do the last cannons. For me it's just a generic silver. Of course I'm putting washes and stuff over this, so it's certainly look a lot more weathered. I mean, it is 30k after all. They are going to be bombing around, getting covered in, you know what, dust, mud, worse, blood of loyalists. So I just paint the silvers. Basically pick out whatever details you would like. So going with these, the turbines, little jets. And when this is done, I'm going to paint the cockpit. I'm going to paint all the little buttons inside, the pilots, all the crew, all the lights, the switches. No, I'm just going to paint the glass. And then I'm going to start throwing some washes over the thing. So definitely a wash over the silvers. Probably some weathering in the recesses. Come back in a minute and see how that looks. Okay, so that's for the black and silver. I also added a tiny little white there, and also on the other side for the missiles, and a little bit on the cockpit. Dropped a bit of Mephiston red on there, so I'm doing it over the white just to make it pop a little bit. So it's a really nice red anyway, and it does cover quite nicely. But yes, at the moment it looks a tad bright. And the reason I've done that is I'm about to start with the null oil wash. So other washes for metallics are available, but it's a very nice black wash for metallics. It's from Citadel, so I'm just going to put it over anything metallically looking, so it should find most of the detail for me at this scale. Obviously on bigger vehicles I might then edge highlight and bring up the silvers again. For this kind of scale it is quite forgiving. So pin it on things like that. Looks quite nice. So I'm going to do that on all the silvers, and I'm also going to drop it on the cockpit as well, on the glass. Okay, so that's a pretty grubby looking plane, but I'm going to make it dirtier. So the cockpit, like I said, I dropped some nullet oil over the top, and just on the crease of the glass, if that's what you call it, on the edge of the glass, right there, I put a slightly brighter red. But there's loads of ways you can do glass. You could glaze it with, once again, some Tamiya clear. You could put some tiny little streaking lines across it to make it look like actual glazing. But that's probably where I'm going to leave it at the moment. And next I'm going to make up some wash with some oil. Of course you can use enamels and things like that, a little bit of streaking grime, just to make your planes a little bit dirtier, with a little bit of white spirit, so it's not too harsh. So I've made some up in a little bowl off camera. So like I said, I'm starting off quite small, if the camera can even pick it up. See there, it is darker on that recess. Same there, a little bit darker on the recess. Underneath the little diddy wing, the little baby wing. And because the Tamiya is very glossy, oils and things like that should get in the recesses quite nicely. But at the moment it's not looking too grubby. I can literally chuck it over the whole thing and it's just a very slight filter. So I'm going to do the slight filter on the top, and then I'm going to get grubbier underneath. You see there, it's really shiny at the moment. That's starting to look quite grubby in the recesses. Now I'm going to start off fairly light and add more as I go. Maybe take the top layer off for cotton wool bud and a little bit of white spirit. I would like to make this fairly grubby, but still somehow looking quite bright from across the table. That's the plan. And definitely grubbier on the bottom of the plane than the top. Right, I will wash both of these, and while they're drying I'll then show you what I did regards the bases. I know what you're thinking, Ross, you forgot the decals. I haven't. The reason I haven't put the decals on yet is most of the vehicles I do on a little bit larger scale, and I don't mind if the decals get a little bit dirty, and that looks totally fine and normal and natural. But with these tiny little things, the decals are very small, and I do want them to show up a little bit. So I'm going to make those the cleanest thing on the vehicle, and the same with all the little tanks I'm going to do next as well. So yes, I do want weathering over the top, so I might put, once it's dry, a little bit of the wash very thinned out over the top of the decals. But as these things are so small, I don't think they'll show up very well if they're dirty as well. I mean, if you want your tanks to kick up a load of dust, that's fine, but I would imagine aircraft will probably be a little bit cleaner. But if you own armies like, let's say, Death Guard, they're going to be really dirty anyway. So definitely make those transfers mega dirty. But I want these guys to show their Legion colours proud. So for once, I'm going to put the decals on afterwards. So I've got the decals softening to one side with a bit of micro cell and micro set. And these are the bases I've painted. So I didn't go crazy colours. I've just airbrushed a little bit of elven flesh in with my grey, just to make it look less grey. Believe me, it looks less grey in person. I'll take a better picture in a bit. And just blend them in the edges. So I've done an overall grey colour and then blended in some elven flesh there. So it doesn't meet all the way in. So it gives it a bit more of a brighter kind of look. And then just painted my metallics in the middle as per normal, like I've done on this vehicle so far. There you go, guys. There's my Fire Raptor gunship squadron. Really enjoyed painting these guys up. Not too bad to assemble. There's a few tiny little fiddly bits, but not too bad. So if you want to assemble them, don't watch a film while you're clipping these out, because the bits will go flying and you'll never find them again. Yeah, that's right. I'm speaking from experience. But yeah, I would say if it's the only thing I could change in the whole of the kit for Alpha Legion, it would be the insignias on the wings, because I would like a bit more than just the Alpha symbol. I would like maybe a couple of the crosses on there, maybe some of the chains, because there was a couple of X's on the sheet, but literally I think that's it. I would like my planes to be fairly uniform, so ideally have the double X's on each of the wings rather than the Alpha symbol. But the actual specific symbols, like the Dark Angels, the Emperor's Children, all that kind of stuff, do look cool. But the honor markings and the numericals, there you go, numericals. I think there should be a few more. So you've got a couple of black ones, which is fine. A couple of white ones, that's fine. A couple of ones with circles around it, which didn't seem very Space Marine-y to me, but that's fine. And a couple of the skulls. But yeah, there's only one double X in the kit, so that makes me a little bit sad. So that's why I put the Alpha Legion symbols on the side. But yeah, do like the transfer sheet, do like the kit, it's fantastic. And I've painted up in my Alpha Legion scheme. It'd be nice to see what you guys do with the kit. And what have I got next? I've got Dreadnoughts, I've got Troops, Rhinos, I've got Predators, Sakarans, you name it. I've got loads more coming for this game, and I would really like to do some battle reports at some stage in the future. So stay tuned.